Live. Hey guys, how you doing? It's the Honeydew Carpenter. Mrs. Honeydew and I are in my shop, and I just got back from a local business here in Idaho Falls, Idaho. All Phase Fabrication. He follows our channel, and he's the one that invented this backyard party stove. It is just absolutely incredible. We did a video on it earlier.
It was a little short video, yeah.
Yeah, it was a little short video. I didn't showcase it totally, but it's coming right along. It's about ready to go. What the issue was he was just having some issues with it fluing correctly. One day it would work like a madman. It would just roar. And the next day, if we had overcast and the barometric pressure was high, it would slow it down. And so he had seen my insulated stovepipe videos and wanted to see if I could come out and help him solve his problem. And we did. We put together some forms and got this stovepipe all figured out for him. So that's a cool thing.
And I bet you had fun too.
Yeah, we had a ton of fun. And I think he's going to use us a lot in the future in an affiliate situation to help, because he's got a lot of cool products that he puts out of that shop.
I really, really like his tortilla press.
Yeah, in fact,
it's a really nice
we
one.
discussed doing a video of you using it and making some.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so.
Hey, Kathy Grin. And hold on, I have something in the way. Okay, have you perfected the surface of bonding cement mixture for aircrete yet?
Oh, where I think you're wanting to spray the aircrete on and whatnot.
And I think she wants the waterproof one.
Oh, the waterproof one. Okay. So what I'm working on right now is, and we've kind of had some delays because they're having trouble getting the sprinkler guy over to move all the sprinklers so that we can start this shed. But that's going to be an integral part of it, is when we do the siding on it, after we do the wall panels out of aircrete and stand them up and do the siding, we're going to take kind of like a plaster gun where you spray plaster on walls, but we're going to be spraying the aircrete and spraying it on the wall. And so that is going to be a huge integral part of it.
But it is not perfected
But it's
yet.
not perfected yet. And
sorry.
It will be. So it's going to end up kind of being like a stucco, similarly, but it's going to be sprayed on. So that's going to be cool.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be amazing.
Let's see if there's any other questions. Yes, I'm going to fill the 2 films with aircrete for the roof. Sweet.
Okay. That's
and
awesome.
then Tom says, love to see the tortilla press.
Yeah. Okay. I will get with Chris. He fabricates them in his shop. He has a massive shop. He brought his crane over and craned up this
amazing shop.
This backyard party press to put the wheels on it and stuff and put it down. And so he's really set up, and he wants to move those tortilla presses, and they're really cool. So we'll have to do a video on that coming up soon.
If you'll let me borrow one and try it out,
yeah,
then we can definitely do it.
Okay, let's see. Projects Everywhere says, love what you're doing. Very interesting. Well, thank you.
Well, awesome.
Any more questions out there? Because we have, like I said, have some delays with getting the shed going.
How you doing, Douglas? That's my bud.
You were late, Doug? What is going on? I'm joking. Okay. But please explain your shed construction type. Tilt up, pour in place?
I'm going to pour the walls flat and tilt them up. But they're going to be poured in panels, and each panel will probably weigh about 45 or 50 pounds, and they're going to be 16 inches wide and 8 feet long, and then they will tilt up and they'll get fastened together in place right there.
Sweet.
Oh, Dennis Case says
hi
hello
from
St. George.
George.
One of our favorite places. We
I
vacation there probably, what,
As often as possible.
Like 6 times in the last 3 years.
My best friend lives in St. George. You're
Yeah.
lucky.
Okay, Kathy says cool and projects everywhere. How thick will they be? How thick is the wall going to be?
The wall panels are going to be 3.5 inches thick, just the same as a regular stud. Any interior reinforcement? Yeah, we secured some wire mesh from a buddy of mine. So it's a fabric wire from armysurplus.com.
Nope.
Or armysurpluswarehouse.com.
There you go.
But armysurpluswarehouse.com, my buddy Dana Collins hooked us up with some fabric mesh that's going to go on both sides of the wall panel. So essentially, you have aircrete. It has great compressive strength, meaning you can put a lot of pressure on it. But it has horrible tensile strength. That's just inherent of all concretes, and that's why they have rebars and other reinforcements for all types of, whether it be bridge projects or what have you. And so it's the same way with gypsum board or dry board for putting on the interior of your wall before you paint it. That stuff is super brittle too. If it didn't have paper on both sides, it'd just fall apart and crack up. But you can take and slit the paper on wallboard and it just snaps right in half. So these wall panels are going to be super strong. By the time we get the fabric mesh on both sides and get them stood up, and then the panels fastened together, and then spray the aircrete on the outside as an exterior finish, they're going to be really extremely strong.
Dennis Case says thumbs up. Tom says, I might be going to Africa to construct housing in Rwanda. Would like to build aircrete walls, etc. Ooh, that sounds exciting.
Then stay tuned. That sounds super exciting. Eventually, Mrs. Honeydew and I we want to get involved in doing some of those housing projects in areas where there's a lot of homelessness just because they don't have the housing. And they don't have access to all the, old timbers that we do here in the United States. And this is an alternative way to build a home, and that people can build them all over the world, because, Portland cement, lime, it's a natural resource found everywhere.
Douglas says, don't you think using a box store easy material is better than a mill deep pocket? I don't understand that.
I don't either.
Box store easy materials are better than mill deep pockets. Oh, maybe he's thinking that buying stuff from the store is easier than. I don't know. We're confused, Doug. Okay, Joel
what about
says,
rust to the metal fabric? Any issues? Okay, the particular fabric that we have is galvanized, so it has a protective coating on it. And we're also, in the mix ingredient, it's going to have a special mix that's going to neutralize the pH and make it very alkaline, non-acidic, okay? So, essentially, you're not going to have any, we shouldn't have any rust issues with the steel inside, because we're getting rid of what happens when you put the different chemicals in concrete together, they create an acidic environment, and you can neutralize that. And so we're going to do that. I suggest a thicker panel.
Instead of 3 inches? Or
Instead of 3.5 inches. We may have to. This is all an experiment. I don't think we're going to have to. If my math is correct, I think it's going to work great. So... what else? Okay.
Dennis says, have you heard of graphene additive? Supposed to double the strength of aircrete and should be strong.
Graphene. Huh, I haven't. Is it a fiber that you drop in? Because I am looking at basalt fibers. They're super duper strong. It's supposed to be like 10 times stronger than rebar, so we'll see how that goes.
Joel House says, come to Peru where adobe houses are melting. The or in the countryside need this system.
Yeah, they do.
That is definitely one of the places I would like to go.
And that's one of the reasons why we do
We
this
just
stuff.
don't have the funds or be able to help right now.
Yeah, but we're well on our way.
Data materials cannot be bought.
Oh, he's talking about the fabric mesh. They don't currently have it on their website right now.
Yeah.
And that's a fact. They've never really had a huge demand or commercial type of a use for it. But what happens is I will take something that Dana has truckloads of or 1,000, and I'll do a project with it, and then
we're hoping,
their idea is they'll make it available so that they can get that stuff pushed out. But
they have so much stuff that is not on their website.
Oh,
so much. It would almost be very hard to try and get.
They have an Army surplus warehouse that's as big as a Walmart, and I think he has 200 times that much stuff in other locations. So it's incredible.
Okay. Paul Isaac says, "Will you use 2x4 from forms that stay in place?"
I'm not going to use any timber in it, so you'll see how it goes up. It's going to be super strong.
It is actually pretty cool how it's going to go up.
It's going to be super strong.
Kathy says she was thinking of filling 2 layers of screen type film to strengthen, but for waterproofing I need to use the surface bonding cement. I might need a slightly larger foam mate version too.
Yeah. You'll have to go on and look at our attaching a larger tank to your foam mate. So I've already done that, and this wall panel system is going to require a concrete mixer just for mixing the dry mix, because I'm going to have 4 different ingredients just in the dry mix, and then we're going to have to combine that with the water and in the same mixer that we fold the foam into the concrete. And I'm doing that with, as many people have guessed, with that auger. But essentially, I'm going to do a DIY foam folder for people, where you take basically a 6-inch tube that costs about, I think it cost me $6.99 or something, of PVC, and put an auger in it that's spinning, and it'll pump the slurry up and over, and as it's doing it, it'll have a hose going into the side of it where I'll pump the foam into it, and you can have this slurry mix that's at a certain level, and based on the mix design, how much you want to expand it, and you'll just pump the foam in until it expands up to that level, then turn off your foam. And so we are going to use the foam mate, and we are going to use it with a much larger tank, so that we can pump higher volumes of foam in at a time and get them folded in and mixed.
Douglas says carbon, and then graphene is a single atom layer. Elizabeth McGovern says, please add our name to your medium rocket heater.
Okay, I am going to. And in fact, earlier this morning, not a half hour ago, I was talking with Chris at All Phase Fabrication about a CC machine, which is a computerized plasma cutter. So I'm wanting to put together a stove situation that I can just cut out all the panels out of sheet metal, bend them all the way they need bent, and have them all pre-drilled, so that we can just ship these out. You can just put a few pop rivets in, pour the aircrete in, and you have a stove. And it's going to be cool. So, but wow. You know what? There's just a lot of ideas going on right now. And
how do you keep it all in your head? You're amazing.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Joel says, we're starting a foundation down here, so you may get tickets before long. I warn you, it's hot in northern Peru, but the beer is cold. Hot? I'm all in.
Yeah.
I love hot.
Cold beer? I'm there. No?
All right. Dallas says, hi, kitty. Yeah, sorry. I love my cat, and she wanted some attention.
If you use aircrete as a brown coat exterior finish, the wall would be
thicker.
Bird. Yeah, well, yeah. We're going to spray on the exterior finish, so the wall is going to be a little bit thicker. It'll probably end up being, close to 4 inches thick by the time we're done. You're absolutely right.
Dennis says, graphite powder-like material, basalt would be rebar-type material.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, get that straight.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just another form of fiber that they're making reinforcement out of.
I can't wait to see your wall panel system, Afton says. Elizabeth says, sorry, a drawing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
She wants the drawing because, the carriage rate down there would be really a lot.
It's all going to be in digital form when we get this.
And Darwin, you should talk to your friend about doing a tour of his store. Chris?
Oh.
Of his shop? Or
I think he wants to do a tour of the Army Surplus Warehouse at armysurpluswarehouse.com. Yeah, that would be easy to arrange. And it's cool. It would be a lot of... it would be cool. We've actually done one video called Finding Hidden Treasures. But this was when we were just starting to source and look for stuff that we could use to build Julie's rocket stove.
It has a little bit of the store.
And it has a little bit of the store in it. But we didn't walk all around and show all the cool stuff.
So Elizabeth says that they are in Ireland. If I said that wrong, I'm sorry. I forgot. But, yeah, she's in Ireland. Kathy says, aw. When will you have wall panels on video?
We're starting that project
as soon as possible.
On Monday.
We're
hoping the sprinkler guy's there to move it. And the actual wall panels are going to start getting built. They're going to be built on the slab. So I've got to remove about 6 inches of earth, put in a road mix base and get it all compacted and prepare it for a slab. And then I'm going to put a slab in because they're going to be driving in on this stuff.
So the wall panels probably won't be Monday.
No, it'll probably be the following week.
This haul seems to take a lot longer than we wish it would.
Doesn't it? The thing I was actually talking with Chris about at All Phase Fabrication this morning was the same thing. Because I said a lot of these mixed designs I've done and whatnot, especially the ones that deal with anything with walls or bricks or structural type stuff, you literally have to wait 7 days of cure time just to figure out what its strength is at maybe 35-40%. And to get the full strength of it, you have to wait 28 days. So one thing I learned, particularly when I was doing this for a geotech engineering firm, was, we'd build a bridge and they'd have the concrete trucks out there and we'd be taking sample cylinders and setting them aside. They'd have to sit undisturbed in a certain environment for 5 days before we could even pick them up. We'd go back, strip the cylinders off. They'd have dates on them, and we'd write the dates on, put them in the cure tank, which was kept at like 80% humidity at all times. It had little misting sprinklers in there. And 7 days later, we got to break the first cylinder. And then we had other cylinders. We usually did 5 per batch, and we would break them at 7 and 14 and 21, and we would have a couple hang back that if it didn't quite break at the correct strength, we'd stick them and let them cure underwater for another 30 days before we could, it's just a waiting game with cement.
It really
a lot
is.
of times.
And Josh and Mandy are wondering, how many blocks did you use for the raised garden bed out of
It was it about 8 feet long and 3.5 feet wide or something. We had 100 blocks, and they were
Yeah.
7-inch round, 5-inch tall blocks. So
It seemed like 100.
yeah.
Dallas says yes, that's what I meant. And projects everywhere, that would be cool. The tour. Okay. Let's
I'll
see
set
about
it up.
talking to
I'll get
Dana.
with Dana and we'll go walk through the
LOL,
store.
okay, Greg says. Joel says, consider a Venturi for a bubble creation. Tiny bubbles drawn from a soap solution. A Venturi would add uniform bubbles. It might simplify the system and be more regulated product.
That's a good idea. I found that if I put a little bit of lime in there, I'm able to get really consistent bubbles and consistently put them out. If like the 7th generation soap, it looked like bread yeast when it looked like a loaf of bread when it came out. It was big bubbles, pockets here and there and everywhere, and
You had a little trouble with that, but we got
yeah,
it
but
out.
once I added some lime and I got it figured out. And another thing that you can add, a viewer of ours gave us this tip, because I know there's commercial additives, but they're super expensive, to get it to set up quicker, especially if you're going to do a raised flower bed and do the blocks.
Mm-hmm.
They will stay kind of soft for hours and hours. If you want them to set up quicker so you can do like easily 2 batches a day, just put a little bit of baking soda in there. And that was a tip we got from one of our viewers that has
Yesterday.
He has 50 years of experience in the ceramic tile business. And that's a big part of
Sorry, we don't remember your name off the top of our head.
yeah.
Or we tell you.
Yeah.
All right, Greg says, what will the roofs be made of? What on Grandpa and Grandpa's shed? What are you making the roof out of?
I'm gonna do them out of the same panels. So they're gonna be at about a 412 pitch,
So
and they're gonna be aircrete panels. And I think with the mesh fiber on both sides, it'll have a good enough tensile strength to.
Can you use glass fibers to increase the tensile strength of the aircrete, or would they reduce to bubbles?
I think glass fibers would be fine, because once they get wet, we used it a lot in different mixes when I was actually working in that industry. But once they get, there's a certain film on water, and it forms what's called a meniscus when you put it in a container or apparatus, and you can easily see it by just filling a glass of water slowly, and it turns up on the side. That's what water skippers land on and everything else. But once you get that meniscus of water around a fiberglass fiber, it tends to, I don't think it would pop the bubbles. I don't think it would. I mean, if you've ever seen like perlite under a microscope, it has all sorts of little things that look like they would pop the bubbles, but they don't. So.
And Joel says, excuse me, the Venturi injection regulated bubbles into soap solution. Injects regulated bubbles into the soap solution.
Oh.
That sounds interesting.
We'll have to look that up.
Right?
That's something I'm not familiar with.
Kathy Green says, phone calls disconnect me. What did I miss? We don't know when you left. Sorry. Okay. Hey, hope you're having a great day, and thank you for all the live Q&A. A lot of good info and answering questions.
Awesome.
Thanks, Kenny. We're trying not to leave you guys hanging because we are, waiting for the sprinklers to be done, and we're like, come on, we got to do something.
Right.
And then Dallas says, hey, would the aircrete handle winter temps in -20 or -30?
Yeah. It's not gonna affect it at all, especially if it's in a dry environment. I have a lot of people up in Alaska right now that bought the stovepipe system and an aircrete machine so that they could do the stovepipes.
We actually left some aircrete out over winter this last winter, and when the snow melted away and it was still there, it was even harder than before we left.
Yeah, we did. It sat under the snow for months. and I couldn't believe it. I actually thought it was like one of our very first batches. It was the very first batch that we ever did. And I just come from a different background of concrete, and it always got really hard really fast. And I thought it was a fail, and so I threw some blocks of it out by the shed. They got snowed on and everything. I went and picked them up, and they're hard. I mean, they're light, feather light.
There was even a little pile of ice stuck to one.
Yeah.
At one point.
Yeah, and they were hard, and I couldn't believe it, to be honest with you. I know there's some people out there concerned about the freeze-thaw cycle and the flower beds, but
we're not after that.
Yeah, I'm not too concerned about it.
Harry Mandelo, hey, have you worked with any magnesium-based cement before?
Yes. Yeah, we would use magnesium in small quantities to entrain air to get different mix designs, and so I'm familiar with it. We wouldn't do it in large quantities like they make aerated concrete out of it, because they depend on that chemical reaction of the magnesium to actually create the bubbles, and it expands after in the form. And then but I haven't experimented with it in aircrete yet. Not to say I'm not going to, because I am, but I haven't yet. I'm trying to. I know it's easily accessible. They use it in for sandblasting mediums and whatnot, and so you can get it, but it's still pretty expensive. My whole deal with this right now and these projects, I just want to keep it simple. I want to keep it as simple as possible. Put the cookies on the bottom shelf so everybody can have some.
Okay, and Rocky asked, will your aircrete panels have an anti-insect mold mildew properties like the commercial aircrete?
Yes. It will. Absolutely. You won't have any insect or mold or mildew issues with this stuff. Okay.
Okay, cool. I'm in Alberta, Canada, and it gets cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does get it. Okay.
I spent 4 years up in Fairbanks, Alaska, so I'm familiar with 50 below for weeks at a time. So I want to go out and live up there. Mrs. Honeydew does not. Oh well.
I like it hot.
Yeah. A lot of single mountain men up there.
Aircrete is MGO cement. Okay. And then Bert says air is used in regular concrete for reduce the freeze-thaw factor.
Yeah, it is. That's why we would entrain air into certain mix designs, depending on what it was going to be used for. You're absolutely right.
I just learned something new.
Yeah.
Dallas says LOL. He was laughing at you.
I think he's laughing at you.
Kathy Grin says Mrs. Honeydew is a smart woman. Oh, you're very kind. Thank you. I think you're very smart too.
I know. Remember that time when Julie came over and you were wanting to start a YouTube channel, and I thought you two were just like batshit crazy? And I was like, what? No way. And then she started looking at my shop and some projects I'd done, and she said how brilliant I was and that change of direction. You just need to follow your husband around with a camera. And I was like, you know, I'm starting to like this gal. She is really cool. It
really actually happened that way. And beautiful couple. I love American couple. Oh, thank you. And Kathy says, haha. All right, so any last minute questions before we go?
Every time you say that, they just come in a wave.
Well, I want to give them a chance before we go.
Okay.
You know, because like maybe they're like, well, should I ask that? And
you know, that's true. It's true. Oh, here they come. All right.
Are you gonna say something? Oh, Dal says, have a great day. And Pamela says, there ain't a man alive that will keep me warm enough to move to Alaska. I agree.
Right, Kathy? Grant says right.
Yeah, I agree with that. 100%. I mean, I might visit Alaska in the summer,
Yeah.
but yeah. Okay, I'm good on questions. Can't wait for the future project.
Oh, that was a bad one.